Stop, folks! Stop! Back up!
The manhunt continues this morning for the shooter who killed right-wing activist Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at a college campus in Utah yesterday. We'll have the latest on the search for the killer, along with local reaction to Kirk's death.
And after workers in Evergreen Public Schools went on strike for nearly 3 weeks, a deal may soon be reached. We'll tell you when kids may be able to return to the classroom.
And today marks 24 years since terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. This is a live look from the Pentagon where President Donald Trump is speaking right now. We will show you how people are commemorating the day across the United States. KGW News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Busy morning for news, but before we get to the headlines, we are going to check in with Chris and Rod for a look at weather and traffic.
Yeah, pretty simple weather story today. Good old-fashioned solid marine clouds out the door. Maybe you find some patchy drizzle. I think a lot of us will still be cloudy at noon, and we may not get that much in the way of sunbreak activity later today. This is our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. 59 degrees, calm winds at the coast, and really light winds expected here in the city again as well. Our Rose City camera showing the clouds. 62 is the number. Wind direction again west-northwest. To the bus stop we go. About 60 on average out the door. Still cloudy at lunchtime. 66 outdoor recess, and then the kids to get out of school. If we have some sun breaks at 3 o'clock, we'll be up to 70 or a little bit better. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert on the St. John's Bridge. The bridge has been effectively closed here for about the last 75 minutes now. I can't exactly tell what that is, but it looks like maybe an overturned container truck on the west end. The end result is if you're trying to get from North Portland to Northwest over the St. John's Bridge, obviously you're going to have to go the long way around over the Fremont Bridge. That's been closed again for quite a while. Traffic down below on Highway 30 actually looks like it's moving okay despite that, but just be aware that if the St. John's Bridge is your normal commute, it's going to take you some extra time this morning. Over on the east side, this is I-205 on the Glenn Jackson Bridge. It looks like there's some debris and a car or a truck has become separated from its trailer. So we've got the middle lanes right now blocked on northbound 205 over the Glenn Jackson, and that's got northbound traffic now backed up past Airport Way. You can see that starting to stack up here. So plan some extra time on that side of town for sure. The drive through North Portland, of course, heavy as well. And right now getting in from Clark County is averaging about 23 minutes on I-5 from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Guys.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Amy!
That was just some of the chaos at Utah Valley University after someone shot and killed right-wing activist Charlie Kirk during his speaking event on the campus yesterday. The manhunt continues this morning for the shooter.
We have learned early this morning that authorities recovered a high-powered rifle that's believed to be used in the assassination in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. NBC's Peter Alexander has more.
This morning, bipartisan condemnation and outrage after the assassination of an influential young conservative voice.
This is a dark moment for America.
Overnight, President Trump, who hours earlier announced Charlie Kirk's death, praising the 31-year-old's ability to energize a new generation of conservatives. But with the manhunt for Kirk's shooter still ongoing, the president casting blame on what he calls the radical left.
Violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
Vice President Vance mourning the loss of a friend, writing overnight, "When I became the VP nominee, something Charlie advocated for both in public and in private, Charlie was there for me." On the House floor, a moment of silence.
Please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family.
But underscoring the bitterness of today's politics, even that devolved into a brief shouting match.
The House will be in order.
We've got to turn the volume down. There's a lot of the people, I think, that find pleasure in stoking that fire, and it's dangerous.
Another measure of the moment, all four former presidents denouncing Kirk's murder. California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, who welcomed the right-wing activist on his podcast earlier this year, calling the attack disgusting, vile, and reprehensible, adding, "We must reject political violence in every form." But the frequency of these targeted political attacks is only growing. There were not one but two attempts on President Trump's life last year. And this summer, a Democratic state lawmaker and her husband were killed in Minnesota. An arsonist also firebombed the residence of Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro on Passover. 2 survivors of previous political assassination attempts speaking out. Former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords condemning Wednesday's attack as un-American. Louisiana lawmaker Steve Scalise, who survived a shooting at a congressional softball practice, saddened.
Even third world countries, you don't see that. It shouldn't happen.
Growing fears this morning, this latest attack is putting the U.S. on a dangerous course.
That was NBC's Peter Alexander reporting. Now let's bring in Corey Johnson in the newsroom. So Corey, how are local lawmakers reacting to this?
Well, China, politicians across the political spectrum have condemned the violence. Yesterday, Governor Tina Kotek ordered all flags at Oregon public institutions to be flown at half staff until sunset on September 14th. In a statement, Kotek saying in part, this attack is inexcusable. Violence has absolutely no place in our democracy. America is better than this. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley tweeted, my thoughts are with the Kirk family and with the Utah Valley University community. Opposing views should never be suppressed with violence. And Oregon House Republican leader Christine Drazan released a statement saying the shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk should horrify every American who believes in free speech and public debate. That statement going on to say any extremist who has called for violent action against their political opponents should be ashamed of what they have brought on our country. Violence and hatred must end. Reaction to yesterday's fatal shooting continues to pour in across the country. We'll continue to bring you the latest from the newsroom. China.
Corey, thank you. We will continue again to cover this story as it develops here on air on KGW.com and on our free TV app, KGW+.
All right, we're covering breaking news in Vancouver this morning. Kids in the Evergreen School District may soon be able to start their school year. That's because the district says it's reached a tentative agreement with the group of district workers who have been on strike for nearly 3 full weeks.
But even with the tentative agreement, there's still no school today for Evergreen kids who have now missed the first 12 days of school. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from district headquarters with the latest. So Thomas, what happens next here?
Yeah, well, guys, now those striking workers decide whether to approve or reject this agreement. And these are staff members like paraeducators and maintenance workers. They'll vote at 8 o'clock tonight. If the contract is approved, Evergreen Schools' superintendent says school will begin Friday, which would be a really big relief for a lot of families here in Southwest Washington. The school year was initially set to begin August 26, but nearly 3 weeks later, students remain out of class. Throughout the strike, nearly 1,400 classified staff, like those paraeducators, have pushed for better pay and job stability. Though recently, these contract disputes have gotten messy. The school district has threatened to sue the union in order to end the strike, arguing the strike is illegal under Washington state law. Still, the district has said a lawsuit is a last resort. Once again, we'll know later tonight whether or not these union members decide to approve this deal. The superintendent of Evergreen Public Schools says they'll then alert parents if school is on tomorrow morning. All the while, Vancouver Public Schools, a neighboring school district here in Vancouver, has their own looming strike coming up. We'll bring you more on that in the next half hour. Drew, China.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live for us this morning. Meantime, attorneys representing the state of a Vancouver teen with special needs who died in 2020 due to starvation and neglect claim the Evergreen School District knew about the abuse years before his death. When he died, the 15-year-old was reported to weigh less than 70 pounds and had scars on his neck. Prior to his death, Washington Child Protective Services launched an investigation into reports of mistreatment. Months later, his adoptive parents were arrested in Northern California and have been sentenced to decades behind bars for charges including second-degree murder. And according to the complaint, the district had, quote, sufficient information to know that the 15-year-old and his 2 younger brothers were being abused, but failed to report it to police or state authorities. A new request from the U.S. Department of Justice is raising questions about voter privacy in Washington. So the DOJ has asked the Secretary of State's office for a complete copy of the state's voter registration database within 14 days. So that includes full names, birth dates, addresses, and partial security or driver's license numbers. Similar requests went out to more than 20 other states. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs says that he will not release any data until the DOJ explains how it would be used.
All right, one more piece of breaking news before we get to Rod Hill. M&M's has a new flavor, just released. Honey roasted peanut M&M's. There you go. The new flavor will be a permanent part of the candies lineup, we're told, unless, of course, Rod in China, no one buys the flavor, at which point I'm sure it will be pulled back from store shelves. But there you go. Honey roasted peanut M&Ms.
So peanut M&Ms are my favorite. That's like my road snack.
The yellow pack.
Coke Zero, yellow, the peanut M&Ms. I can't imagine that tastes much different.
Right.
But I unfortunately will have to do a side-by-side comparison because I'm a journalist.
Some investigative reporting.
That's what I do.
In the M&M aisle from China Green, Rod Hill.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite, Rod? The plain, the original that is, or the peanut, or maybe the peanut butter M&Ms?
I will, if they're on a table in front of me, I will grab the regular plain chocolate M&Ms over the nut ones. And I don't know why, because I like nuts, but I'll go for the plain ones.
He's a simple man.
And he's nuts.
That's probably why, yes. Here's our Rose City camera, cloudy skies. I'm looking out the windows. The window is just to my left. It's still pretty dark outside. The sun came up at 6:44, but this is a low, solid cloud deck, so we're not getting a whole lot of brightness out of the rising sun. 62 is the number from our Rose City camera. Watch out for the potential some patchy drizzle. That is usually best, to the chance thereof, maybe along the rivers or up in the hills. So here's the Oregon Zoo up in the West Hills live, 59 degrees. Clouds will be solid throughout the morning, so certainly going to be a comfortable start to our day to be out working or playing. Temperatures 59 Hillsboro, 60 Battleground, 60 down in Oregon City. It's a light northwest wind, 58 in Kaiser, and 59 degrees this morning in Salem. We have some weakening showers over in parts of central and eastern Oregon right now. Later this afternoon, we'll see more thunderstorm activity, fire in these areas. This is the finale of this pattern that's brought just daily development of thunderstorms. So Madras could see more storms, 74. Bend could, 69 at 5 o'clock is what the model shows. Here on the west side, clouds that will be with us into the afternoon, and getting sun breaks may be a tall order today. We will need some sun breaks to get up to 75. Otherwise, it'll be cooler. We have brighter days tomorrow and Saturday. In fact, Saturday, 83. Right now, I'm going to say confidence is high that we will see measurable rainfall on Sunday. In fact, odds are better than 50% at this point that we'll see more than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall on Sunday, and that rain chance starts first thing in the morning on Sunday. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with that traffic alert on the St. John's Bridge. Photojournalist Eric Patterson, we send him out to go get stuck in traffic so you don't have to, and he is stuck in this. They've got the heavy equipment out there to go hopefully get this overturned container righted and back up on a tow truck. But right now, the traffic impact is that the St. John's Bridge is closed. It has been for about an hour and 30 minutes now. So if you're trying to get from North Portland to Northwest, and you would typically use the St. John's Bridge, you're going to need to take the long way around. That's the Fremont Bridge and Highway 30. Meanwhile, the drive times are building, of course. 205 slow, I-5 even slower. We're almost 30 minutes now to get you into Main Street, or from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And a quick check over on the west side. We did have an earlier crash on the Sunset just east of Murray Boulevard. You can see the eastbound commute is still a little slow there at this point. So we're up to about 22 minutes to get you in from Hillsboro. Guys?
Thank you, Chris.
It's believed to be the most destructive forest past the United States right now.
So he's talking about this little thing, the emerald ash borer. After the break, we'll take a look at the damage this invasive beetle can cause and how the Department of Forestry is working to get rid of them.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
All right, we have bugs making news headlines. Oh, you got one on your shoulder right there.
Shut it.
In all seriousness, the insect experts believe an invasive beetle could wipe out 99%, so basically all of the ash trees in the state of Oregon. No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Well, Catherine Cook has...
I pet the bugs.
Weirdo. Catherine Cook says more on the damage being caused by emerald ash borers and the effort to stop them from spreading.
Arborists inspecting the branches of this ash tree in southeast Portland for a tiny green menace. It was here in this David Douglas High School parking lot where they discovered Multnomah County's first emerald ash borer. Native to Asia, the invasive beetle has killed hundreds of millions of ash trees in other parts of the country before making its way to Oregon 3 years ago.
It's believed to be the most destructive forest pest in the United States right now.
Matt Mills is the emerald ash borer support specialist for the Oregon Department of Forestry. He says this summer, the beetle showed up in traps like this one in Marion, Clackamas, Yamhill, Washington, and now Multnomah counties. He fears the beetle will wipe out 99% of the state's ash tree population.
They move large distances, like probably how they got here from Oregon, is people transporting infested firewood and other sorts of material. So that's why we're really trying to hammer home the message that we should not be moving firewood around the state.
Experts say emerald ash borers laid their eggs on ash trees. When they hatch, the larvae burrow into the tree and feed under the bark, blocking the tree's ability to transport nutrients.
One thing I noticed immediately was that the tree was looking a little bit more stressed.
Peter Van Oss is the arborist who discovered Portland's first emerald ash borer. He says people should check their ash trees for signs of the beetle. That includes a dying canopy with dead branches and yellowing leaves, woodpecker damage like drill holes, small D-shaped exit holes that are flat on one side, and bark splits that larvae have chewed away. For the last 2 years, the city's forester has been treating ash trees in Portland parks with insecticide.
This is an environmentally friendly treatment. It is injected into the trees, not sprayed or drenched into the soil, and it is fine for pollinators, animals, people, and other vegetation.
Whatever they can do to keep these beetles at bay. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
You know, they describe these little green things that I would say perfectly describes my co-anchor here.
Continue, China.
The menace part?
Yeah.
What
Menace.
else? I'll continue. I can listen to this all day.
I noticed when Rod was walking through, coming back into the studio here, you looked at the story and you're like, oh, they're a beautiful creature.
Well, I mean, the close-up of the bug with that kind of illuminated green tone, they're pretty, I think, up close.
He's not calling you beautiful.
No, I know he's not, but don't let their beauty deceive you, Rod. They're killers.
Menaces.
They're killing the ash trees.
Yes. Well, I'm not condoning what they're doing. I'm just saying up close, it's kind of a pretty bug. Okay. Moving along. Here's our satellite radar picture. We've got rain showers that have weakened from what were thunderstorms. Actually, some of this is, see the yellow right there, and there's some shower activity outside of Manderson and Bend. Some of this is starting to reinvigorate itself. And this is in that same area, central eastern Oregon. We will see thunderstorms just keep the wheel going today. This is the final day of that activity, mainly dry east of the Cascades tomorrow. Here on the west side, it's all about the good old marine layer. Here's our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera, Lincoln City. 58 degrees, solid cloud deck bumps all the way up into the Cascades, and still a lot of clouds out into the gorge itself this morning. Here's Elk Ridge Golf Course, and we're in Carson looking across to the mountains on the Oregon side, but beautiful out there. Temperatures in the gorge today with light west winds will be trying to get up to around 70 degrees in the Hood River area. And then continuing a tour out farther to the east, this is Warm Springs Reservation in the Canita Hot Springs Resort. Kind of mostly cloudy. And again, if you're going to be in Warm Springs area, down into Bend, down into Sun River, you have the ongoing threat of getting some more thunderstorm activity during the day. So keep a heads up to what's going on around you. Of course, lightning, very dangerous. All right, here are the temps. 55 in Bend with some rain showers in the area. 57 over in Newport. It's cloudy up into Seattle, 56 up by 5. Generally, it's dry this morning, except for those showers that we showed you on radar to start. And then futurecast at noon today. Notice still pretty cloudy here on the west side. This is a day where getting sun breaks will be a struggle. Not sure if we get sun breaks in any one particular area or not here on the west side, valley and coast. In the afternoon, though, this is a sure bet. See the bright colors, more scattered showers and storms developing. And then I'll play this into tomorrow morning. Some cloudiness to start in Portland, but then we have sun before noon. And then it's mainly dry out east tomorrow. Again, today's the finale of your thunderstorm activity that's been just coming at you every single day this week. Valley forecast numbers. We will need some sun breaks to get above 70 today. Not a guarantee. We'll see what we end up with. Southwest Washington, same thing. This shows Longview right at 70 and Battleground at 72. 7-day forecast numbers for you. Tomorrow, if we have sun before noon, we'll be upper 70s, maybe 80. I have it's 83 on Saturday. We cloud over Saturday night. Right now, to me, confidence is high that when you wake up Sunday morning, it's raining outside. That breaks into scattered showers that could linger into Monday morning. I'm so careful to say because our rain forecasting lately has been a catastrophe zone. But this looks like we could get over a quarter of an inch of rain. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we have an east wind, low humidity, and beautiful sunshine. Here's a man who's not a catastrophe zone, Chris McGinnis.
Although with that, we pick it up with a traffic alert. So there you go. On the St. John's Bridge, no word on any injuries at this point, but this is the situation that's got the bridge closed. Photojournalist Eric Patterson's on the scene of this overturned container here on the west end of the bridge. You can see they've got the heavy equipment out there to get that thing upright and out of there eventually. Eric just told us it looks like it's going to be at least another 20 minutes, maybe longer, before this gets open. Here's the top view looking down on the bridge. Obviously, if you're trying to get from North Portland to Northwest, and that's your normal commute, you're going to need to take the long way around over the Fremont Bridge. Another bridge that's had some trouble this morning. This is the northbound Glen Jackson Bridge. A car lost whatever it was towing here. It's over in the shoulder now, so the backup that was around that has flushed out, thankfully. Back over to the west side. Highway 26, the Sunset, an earlier crash near Murray Boulevard has just cleared. That drive getting in from Hillsborough, though, sits at about 25 minutes at last check. That's from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. Guys.
All right, thank you, Chris. Vice President J.D. Vance is headed to Utah this morning following yesterday's shooting death of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk on the campus of Utah Valley University. We'll have that story and other national headlines for you when the Sunrise Show continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Here's a look at some national headlines with your morning rush. A teenager in Colorado injured 2 other students during a high school shooting yesterday before he shot and killed himself. One of his victims is in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries. The other was listed in critical condition, but there's been no further update. Officials say none of the officers who responded to the school shooting fired any shots of their own. Also, a reminder this morning, if you or someone you know is struggling, help is available 24/7 by either calling or texting 988 to reach the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The Lifeline can provide you with confidential support and resources. NBC reports that Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife will fly to Utah today following the shooting death of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. The Vice President was originally scheduled to attend this morning's 9/11 commemoration event at Ground Zero in New York City. One more headline here. The NCAA has permanently banned 3 college basketball players after they allegedly bet on their own games. These players played at Fresno State and San Jose State during the last college basketball season. One of the players is also accused of making plans to underperform during games. And that's a look at your morning rush. Still to come here on the Sunrise Show, the latest on the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, plus reaction to his death from local lawmakers. We're also talking about this in our next half hour, produce prices going up. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson is going to join us to see why that's happening and how you might be able to save some money on your grocery bill.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We're coming up on 7:29 on your Thursday morning drive. We start off live on the west end of the St. John's Bridge. Photojournalist Eric Patterson has been tracking this. An overturned container here has the bridge shut down. You can see they've got the heavy equipment out there. And wow, that's the truck that appears to have dropped that container on the west end of the bridge. So if you're trying to get from Highway 30 to St. John's, you're going to need to take the long way around. That's over the Fremont Bridge. That's obviously going to add miles and several extra minutes to your commute this morning. The drive out of Clark County has been busy on I-205 and I-5. And right now the sunset is also increasing. We're looking at close to 30 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough. Rod?
All right, Chris, thank you, sir. We have a cloudy morning out there. Don't be surprised if you run into some patchy drizzle. I have not seen any reports of that. Salem right now, your early morning number of 59 degrees. Clouds over the capital. There are the solid clouds over downtown Portland as well. We're at 62. Winds are light from the northwest. Likely still cloudy at noon, and then we'll look for sun breaks to develop this afternoon, but it might be a tall order. 75 at most. We get some warmer sunshine tomorrow and Saturday.
Good morning. A local putting green got some maintenance work thanks to some hungry farm animals. These goats helped to trim the grass on the 13th hole at the Eastmoreland golf course by, well, just eating it. It was their job to eat the overgrown weeds and plants on the steep banks of the hills and ravines, which means no need for herbicides or heavy equipment. The animals are expected to be on the site for roughly 2 to 3 weeks. We know today is a heavy day in news, a lot of stuff going on in the world, so we just wanted to start the 7:30 half hour with something a little bit more on the happier side and just kind of take a breath for a second.
And that was, being lighthearted for a second, a difficult story for me because I've hit golf balls into that ravine. That's on the left side of that par 5, which is the 13th hole on beautiful Eastmoreland, one of our historic golf.
Is that I don't think
that's on the left side.
Okay.
Your drive can run down. There's also a ravine that crosses the green. That hole is a problem.
Can I have a map, please?
Yeah.
Let's get you out the door to our
Easy
coast forecast. I tell you though, what a beloved forecast by local golf forecast. What a beloved golf course, I was trying to say, Eastmoreland. All right, Snoqualmie Casino Resort, Lincoln City. We've got the cloud cover. Might be some patchy drizzle out there. Winds are calm, 58 degrees. Downtown Portland, we got the cloud cover. We have the light northwest winds. We have 62. Looks to be a day where the clouds will be solid all morning. I would say nearly likely it's still cloudy at noon. And if that's the case, it would only be 67. So a really comfortable day to be out and about, especially if you're doing some work or some hard labor outside. Later today, we would need some sun breaks just to get up to about 75 for a high. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We take you back to the St. John's Bridge. Photojournalist Eric Patterson on the scene here of this overturned container truck. And you can see they've got the heavy equipment out there trying to get that out of the way. This flipped over about 5:45, so the bridge has been effectively closed now for nearly 2 hours. If you're trying to get from North Portland to Northwest to Highway 30, you got to take the long way around. So the Fremont Bridge and I-5 is going to be your commute and out Highway 30. The I-5 drive, by the way, appears to be extra busy this morning, and it's pretty solid from Main Street down to the Fremont. That's about as thick as we've seen it at this hour over the last couple of weeks. It's approaching 40 minutes now to get you in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge. Drew, China.
All right, thank you, Chris. Top story here at 7:30. The manhunt continues this morning for the person who shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
The assassination happened while Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University as part of his American Comeback Tour. Kirk was the co-founder of the youth organization Turning Point USA, has given speeches at campuses all over the country. Kirk is credited with mobilizing the youth vote for President Donald Trump. President Trump has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff until sunset on Sunday.
Elected officials in Oregon, including Governor Tina Kotek, are condemning the violent killing of Charlie Kirk. Here's what Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley posted on X, saying, quote, "My thoughts are with the Kirk family and with the Utah Valley University community. Opposing views," he said, "should never be suppressed with violence." Meanwhile, Oregon House Republican leader Christine Drazan released a statement saying, quote, "The shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk should horrify every American who believes in free speech and public debate. Any extremist who has called for violent action against their political opponents should be ashamed of what they have brought on our country. Violence and hatred," she said, "must end. My deepest condolences to the Kirk family and prayers for our country."
We'll continue to cover the story as it develops here on air on KGW.com and on our free TV app, KGW+. And now to some other local headlines we're following this morning. A hiker has been found dead after getting lost near Multnomah Falls. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says that the hiker was reported missing just after 8 o'clock yesterday morning. A short time later, a separate 911 caller reported a body in the general area where the hiker was reported missing. The hiker's identity has not been released. And the man arrested for the death of a 13-year-old boy in Gresham is being held without bail. 21-year-old Anthony Hunter Jr. right there made his first court appearance yesterday. Back in April, gunfire went through a wall, killing Liam Spanley Bailey, who was just asleep in an apartment next door. Two other suspects in the case, 20-year-old Xavier Hirsch and 17-year-old Terrell Coy, are still wanted for second-degree murder.
All right, developing story this morning. Another strike in another Clark County school district could keep another 20,000 plus students out of the classroom.
Vancouver Public Schools classified staff will vote on that striking tonight. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in Vancouver. So Thomas, why are these workers considering a strike?
Well, China and Drew, nearly 800 of these workers, like para-educators and technology specialists, are pushing toward a strike. because they want higher wages. They say just far too often there's not enough workers and it's hard to retain those workers who are in the school system. They say without those adults, enough adults in schools, it's just hard to give kids adequate watch that they need. When there is more stability in classrooms, paraeducators say there's also less outbursts from students.
We want to hire and retain staff who are skilled. It's much easier for the kids, and kids respond well and the most successful if they have staff who they know.
The union has been bargaining for a contract since April. In response, Vancouver Public Schools tells us they remain hopeful that an agreement can be reached and a strike avoided, adding that both sides want a fair contract that honors and respects staff. Vancouver Public Schools also tells us that they've received assurances from the union that if they do strike, it would not begin tomorrow on Friday. That might push it to presumably next week, which would give the district more time to prepare for possible school closures. Drew, China.
All right, we've got that story brewing there in Vancouver, Thomas. Meanwhile, an update on another school district in Vancouver, the Evergreen School District, which says it has reached a tentative agreement with the union representing the striking workers in their district. Okay, the district now saying that union leaders will vote on whether to ratify this new contract proposal today. And if the contract is approved, students will finally start the school year in the Evergreen School District tomorrow.
The Port of Portland has announced a new deal to keep Terminal 6 going as the only international shipping port in the state. So the port reached an agreement to make Harbor Industrial Services its long-term operator. Right now, the terminal directly supports up to 400 jobs and more than 1,500 jobs total across the state. Harbor Industrial Services will take over Terminal 6 by the end of the year. If you feel like your grocery bill is going up, you're not imagining it.
So this probably isn't the healthiest advice, but apparently if you stop eating vegetables, that could actually help the spending. Well, really, the vegetables are at the core of the problem right now. Wholesale prices for vegetables recently experienced their biggest jump in decades. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson will confirm this for me. She joins us now from the newsroom. Corey, what will this produce price hike mean for local shoppers?
Well, it could mean, Drew, that prices for produce could be a little bit higher in the fall. This after we saw wholesale veggie prices spike nearly 40% from June to July. That's the sharpest jump that we've seen in nearly 40 years.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the average basket of produce jumped from $228 in June to $317 in July, nearly $100 more in just 1 month. So what's behind the spike? Experts point to new tariffs on imports and ongoing labor shortages that make harvesting crops more difficult.
It's not a good feeling, like there's already a million things to worry about financially.
So much of the stuff, like the salads and so on, I'm almost to the point where I can't afford them anyway.
The real impact usually shows up a few months later when local harvests slow down.
Portland is known for having a lot of vegetarians and vegans. I'm worried that it's going to hit harder here than in other places. Maybe not 40%, but 4 or 5, I think people should be prepared to see.
Digital strategist Brian Vance tracks Portland grocery prices through his newsletter, Stumptown Savings. Vance says there are ways to blunt the impact, like taking advantage of SNAP double-up food bucks and shopping around for the best deals.
Don't be so loyal to one store that you're paying more than you absolutely have to.
Now, experts say now is the best time to plan and shop smart before wholesale hikes make their way to Portland checkout lines. Drew, China.
Corey, thank you. All right, your time now is 7:38. Let's take a look at weather with Rod Hill.
All right, good morning, everybody. Typical solid low marine cloud day for us, and a day where not able to promise sun breaks this afternoon. We will look for them, but certainly I think odds favor staying overcast all the way into the afternoon. And even though the sun's up, it's still kind of dark outside, so it's a pretty thick layer of clouds. I do want to point out it's another day also of seeing showers and thunderstorm activity east of the Cascades. This has been ongoing for several days. This should be the finale. Most of you, if not all of you, will simply stay dry tomorrow and on Saturday. Right now, we had some lightning when I got into work this morning, and then it faded away, but we've actually got some heavier rain rates starting to pick up in parts of eastern Oregon this morning. So you folks could get some more lightning developing even before lunchtime. The Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha, cloudy skies for us this morning. Looking out to the west, you can tell that's Kind of dark still, isn't it? 62. Winds are on the light side. Here's downtown Portland, looking at the Tilcomb Crossing and the South Waterfront from the Portland Spirit Landing. Same deal. Just light winds, still cloudy outside. Temperatures, let's see here, still some 50s out there. We're starting to warm up a little bit, but the warming process is going to be really gradual. Coolest spot on this map would be Forest Grove at 56. At 62, the other direction out in Troutdale. Upper 50s in Kaiser and Salem, and 60 degrees for you in Almsville this morning. Bubba is our KGW dog of the day. This is a perfect picture for this dog sitting there up there in the chair. Use the email address dogoftheday@kgw.com. That's Bubba's proud face this morning. Send us your dog's photo and name, and your dog will be our dog of the day. All right. Hi, Bubba. Here's a look at our afternoon maps. Showers and thunderstorms scattered about, developing this afternoon, going into the evening, 60s and 70s. We'll be dry this afternoon. The question is, how many sunbreaks do we pick up? Coast and Valley could be a struggle, both locations. 60s at the beach, trying to get up into the 70s in the Valley. I've got Portland as warm as 75, maybe too warm. 78, 83 tomorrow. Both Friday and Saturday look to be much sunnier days. And then right now, you wake up Sunday morning, it should be raining outside. That'll be a scattered shower chance. It lingers into Monday morning. Models love more than a quarter of an inch of rain Sunday. We'll see what we pick up. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with that traffic alert on the St. John's Bridge. Again, you're looking live here from the west end of the bridge. Photojournalist Eric Patterson's been on scene here watching the crews with the heavy equipment trying to get that container that tipped over earlier this morning upright and out of there. You could also see the truck that was carrying it. Looks like the bed there has been really twisted. So they've got some work to do. The St. John's Bridge is closed. It has been for nearly 2 hours now. So if you're trying to get from north to northwest Portland, Highway 30 area from Linton to St. John's, you're going to need to take the long way around, which of course is I-5 over the Fremont Bridge. I-5 itself is extra slow this morning. This is the live look right now at southbound I-5 up near the Expo Center. That's pretty busy. I-205 has been a little extra busy this morning as well. This is a live look at the drive times. Right now, that commute in from Main Street south of the Fremont Bridge, Drew and China, that is up to 40 minutes at last check.
All right, Chris. Thank you for that. Next up here on Sunrise, it's a love story. A love story, China Green, built brick by brick. After the break, we're going to meet the Portland man who went from building Lego sets to creating his own Lego set that's now available on store shelves.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
It's a check this out love story this morning on the Sunrise Show. A Portland man who's always loved Legos got to create his own Lego set.
Devin Haskins has more on his original design that is now on store shelves.
20-year-old Alex Solly.
So this is part of my Lego collection.
Has a love for Legos.
I have all kinds of things. I mean, I've been collecting for a number of years.
From small
This is probably my favorite right here, the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
to big,
This is the Titanic.
he's built them all.
This is the Saturn V rocket that took people to the moon in 1969.
His first set was his mom's.
You know, that was always a special set for me, and that's what got me hooked.
And as the years went by, he moved on from building sets
This is my log cabin.
to designing his own.
So this was my original idea, and then all of the expanded stuff I added.
Using a Lego program online, he says he's built 40 or 50 of them, submitting 6 of them for review.
This is my original model that I submitted.
In 2022, he created a Lego village, modeled after homes in the Italian Riviera.
So my inspiration for this was a trip I was about to take, and I was all excited, and I was doing a bunch of research.
He submitted his idea to Lego,
It's always been a dream.
and after receiving the necessary 10,000 votes from other creators,
I thought this was a cool idea, but I was worried they wouldn't approve it.
Lego designers not only approved it, they helped him perfect it.
Here we go. So this is the Italian Riviera. It is almost 3,300 pieces.
3,251 to be exact. In August, after 3 years of work, it was officially for sale. He says it was a surreal experience putting it together for the first time.
A little bit, yeah.
Some ideas they added,
There's the crab. That's a fun one too.
others, his own little surprises.
So there's a mini figure right here of me with my camera, because I'm always taking pictures.
The Grant High School grad is now a junior at Cal Poly and studying computer science, who can proudly say his design made it to store shelves.
It's really fun to like make it your own and pick out all the stories from it and kind of figure out like what it means to you.
Devin Haskins, KGW News.
And in case you wanted to get the set for yourself, it runs about $300, and Alex gets a certain percentage from each one sold. But the Lego store at Washington Square Mall says that it's hard to keep in stock because someone local created it.
So if you think $300 is expensive for a Lego set, how about the price for this one? This is Lego's most expensive set to date. It's a new version of the Death Star space station from the Star Wars movies. Want to take a guess right at how much it costs? Most expensive set to date.
I'll go $740.
You're still off. Still a little light, Rod.
Can't be over. Is it over 1,000?
Right about 1,000 on the dot.
I had no idea.
$1,000 for a Lego set. This one does feature over 9,000 pieces. So there you go. You're not even paying, $1 a piece.
Back up the truck. I'm spending almost $1,000 and nobody's putting it together for me. This is even worse.
No, that's the love of the game.
Yeah,
that's the love of the game, Rod.
Yeah.
How cool is that story, though? I didn't realize that was a thing, that you could create designs and then sell your design to the company. I didn't
No, this is
know
the
that
first
was a
local version I've heard of this story for sure. I mean, my kids were always building with the Legos. I remember like 5, 6, 7 years old. Big thing in the house.
That's cool.
You ever step on a Lego? Middle of the night walking down the stairs? That hurts, by the way.
Ouch! I can imagine. I was a Lincoln Log kid.
Okay, I loved Lincoln Logs too.
Yeah, that was fun. They come in the little barrel type.
The green roof?
Yeah,
I remember
I
those.
like it.
Smashing them down after the construction was done?
Okay.
Yes, it's what we did. Here's a look at our satellite. China's like, move on, boys. Here's our satellite radar. Last day of the week of the scattered shower thunderstorm pattern rotating out in central and eastern Oregon, at least with this pattern that we've been in. You folks will get some dry time tomorrow and on Saturday. But we've got active showers kind of just bumping east of Bend and Madras right now, and we are expected to see more thunderstorms. Here on the west side, it's a totally different world. We just have a marine cloud deck, and outside of any patchy drizzle this morning, it'll be a dry day. The question is, will we get sun breaks or not? Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. It is cloudy, 59 degrees. Thought I'd take the time to show you a bunch of cameras because it's fun. Timberline Lodge. So we have a low marine deck. So typically our low marine decks don't get up much above 3,000 feet. They can get up to 4 sometimes, but they wouldn't get up to Timberline if it's a classic marine push. So that's clear skies up over the summit. Here are the clouds over our state capitol. Here's the Shalem Tasting Room Cameron Sherwood. This is kind of a dark view, and again, here in downtown Portland, the clouds are thick enough. We're not getting a ton of brightness from the sun. We do have, this is more hazy and kind of partly sunny than anything out from the Oregon Veterans Home camera in the Dalles, and especially the East Gorge. You folks might get clipped for some thunderstorms later today. The better chance is out here to the east, Burns, John Day, Baker City, and then rotation would pull storms southward, maybe down into Bend and Sun River a little bit later today. Bend right now, 55 degrees. Futurecast is going to show what I just told you. Noon, pretty much still cloudy on the west side. look for some sun breaks. Here are the thunderstorms developing. Now, if this is correct, the storms stay clear of the Dows, but these could migrate down this evening and clip parts of central Oregon. All right, at the beach today, like the valley. Afternoon sun breaks, question mark, question mark, question mark. Winds will be light northwest, temps will be in the 60s. We will need some afternoon sun breaks to get above 70 this afternoon, so we'll see if we can do it. This shows Portland, I've got us a 75. If we don't get sun breaks, it'll be more like 70, 71. Mostly sunny, 78 becoming tomorrow, and then 83 on Saturday. Right now, your Sunday plans are in jeopardy of being wet. This looks like could be raining fairly steadily in the morning and then breaking to scattered showers going into the afternoon, and a scattered shower threat lingers into Monday morning. I've been saying that all of the models I looked at, they all love more than a quarter of an inch. A lot of them like a half of an inch of rain. To get that much, we would need a pretty good shot of rain in the AM hours. Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, guess what? Not only sunny, not only warming, but low humidity. Finally. Yeah, here's Chris.
That'll feel good. All right, off to a kind of a rough start for our morning commute. We've got several slow spots out there. That looks like either a traffic stop or a fender bender down in Tualatin on northbound I-5. Traffic pretty thick coming in from that side of town near our Nyberg camera. You can see the exit to Lower Boones Ferry Road off on the right shoulder there as well. The drive coming up from Wilsonville now has spiked up to about 36 minutes. Not to be outdone, the inbound Sunset's a heavy commute this morning. About 35 minutes is getting you in from Hillsborough at Interstate 84. This slide doesn't look so bad, but it's slow and go most of the way in from Gateway. I-5 out of Clark County, 45 minutes to get in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And we finish with this traffic alert we've been watching throughout the morning. The St. John's Bridge remains closed as crews work to right this overturned container truck. So again, we'll keep you posted on this. The St. John's Bridge, though, remains closed, has been for about 2 hours. We'll let you know when it opens. China?
Thank you, Chris. We are now taking a live look at the memorial honoring those who lost their lives during the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center. We will have more on how people across the nation are remembering the tragedy after this.
Michael W. Lowe.
Gary W. Lozier.
John P. Lazowski.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Today marks 24 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people. We're taking a live look here at Ground Zero in New York City, the site of two of the attacks that day in 2001.
Many people across the U.S. will commemorate 9/11 with a day of service. WNBC's Charles Watson has more on volunteers in New York who prepped millions of meals yesterday.
The seeds of hope, unity, and good deeds nourishing the souls of thousands aboard the Intrepid Museum Wednesday. Every pour of rice and grain serving as the heartbeat to the palpable energy in the room.
It's pretty amazing. You know, like just when you kind of lose faith in humanity.
All of this a part of the 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance, a day co-founder David Payne came up with to honor people like late volunteer firefighter Glenn Winnick, with a showing of the same solidarity and will to give that overcame New Yorkers and Americans as a whole on September 11, 2001, and the days that followed.
There's no expiration date on goodness. You know, it's something that lives in us every minute of every second of every day.
There are 6,800 volunteers here helping to pack more than 2 million non-perishable meals for folks who are at risk of hunger.
I think we're up for the challenge.
James Lynch is digging deep to honor the nearly 3,000 lives lost that day, including his father, Robert, a property manager at the World Trade Center who perished. Lynch telling News 4, giving back in a way like this embodies what his father was all about.
If he were to, survive the day, I think that he would be here giving back. And I think that we can't do no more to honor his memory than to be here volunteering and giving our time.
24 years later, the heaviness of 9/11 continues to weigh on this city and country. But with every smile and box filled, it's a symbol of hope that all those lives lost won't be in vain.
This is the least I can do.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, Evergreen students could be heading back to school. The district has reached a tentative agreement with striking workers, but families are still waiting to know when their kids could head back to class. Plus,
my administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity.
Continuing coverage of the shooting death of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah yesterday. The latest on the manhunt for the person who shot him coming up at 8 o'clock.